Late drama at the Emirates Stadium as Manchester United threw a Matthias Cunha wonder goal and all 3 points. And on that note, I welcome you to another edition of Sport Pizza. I promise it's to be an exciting show. I'm not alone in the studio, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, where is Edwin Oyebole? My name is Oladuni Bankole, and I'm standing in for my guy, my own boy Edwin, who is still out there celebrating the victory of Manchester United. But like I said, it promises to be an exciting show from the Premier League to the Spanish La Liga to the Italian Serie A. I would also be coming back home as Austin Eguavon criticized Eric Chell about the lack of inclusion of NPFL players in the just concluded AFCON squad. And don't forget, the Tipsters Corner will be giving you the best value in the betting market. And like I said at the start of my intro, I'm not alone in the studio. I have someone making his debut on the show today. We go on a break. When we come back, I'll be bringing in my friend, and then we get straight to business. Welcome back to the show, and like I said, I'm not doing this alone. I have my friend Michael Black with us. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Me. I'm good.
And before we get into the sporting side of things, you have a very interesting name, Michael Black. And is that your real name? Is it?
No. Of course,
the name on your passport.
I'm a Yoruba
so
boy.
What
My
was
name
your
is
real name?
Michael Odumusu.
Michael Odumusu. So how did the black come to? Is it because of
I just say the color of my skin? My complexion.
But yes, Michael Black is an Arsenal fan. So if you guys are wondering why his energy is quite low, it's because he's still wailing, from the loss at the weekend. But Michael, let's start with the game.
Okay.
And let's start with the losing team, Arsenal. It felt like this was a team that added an unnecessary amount of pressure on them. You are in January, and you shouldn't take every game like it's the last game of the season. And you could clearly see that desperation when Arteta started making 4 changes, at a goal. And do you think it will be ill-advised, for the manager to tell the players to take it easy, one game at a time? You don't have to add that burden on yourself going forward.
Well, I think it's easier to be at the backstage and say all of these things. Of course, you'd expect Arteta to tell his player one game at a time. But now that seems more like an anthem. Every player knows it's not just one game at a time. Everyone is looking at the board. They are looking at the log. They know we're 7 points adrift, we're 9 points adrift. They know all of these things. They are not kids. But when you've gone through what Arsenal has been through, like they've been the bridesmaid, just like they've tagged Arsenal for like 3 consecutive years. So it's more like a trauma response. You really can't blame them. It's there at the back of their mind, like, what if we lose it again this time around? And I think that's what happened against Nottingham Forest. Even though Arteta didn't set up the team to go and win, he didn't set up the team confidently, because I see no reason why you're resting players against Nottingham Forest. The game against Inter Milan in the Champions League was inconsequential, whether he end in a loss or a draw. It was inconsequential to Arsenal standing on the log. But at the end of the day, you just feel this reality check delivered to us now, unfortunately, even though I'm livid about that, we make everyone just simmer down and calm down and say, okay, now this has happened. Now let's focus on subsequent matches. All Arsenal needs to do is win their matches. Win their matches. Even if you go to City at the Etihad and lose, you still have 1 point. And I don't think that is going to happen, because I think the league will be decided before Arsenal and City, meet up against one another at the Etihad.
Still talking about Arsenal, I think there's a certain perception about the Gunners that they are struggling to score goals. And when you look at their front line, when you look at their attacking players, these are players who you wouldn't necessarily expect, Arsenal to be lacking goals from open play. Gabriel, your centre back, is one of your highest goal scorers this season. You splashed over 60 million on a striker in Victor Gyökeres, another 50 on Noni Madueke. But would you say it is a case of the players not living up to expectation, or there is a particular system that Arteta is using to hinder Arsenal's ability to score goals? Because I am quite conflicted, to be honest. I think the manager has probably set up his team to prioritize defensive side of things, and for a team who, like you mentioned, the last 3 years have lost the league because they couldn't keep it tight at the back. I think it's understandable. I don't think you go to Man United, you go to Liverpool, and then you go all out attacking. I don't think it's commonsensical to do that. But I also think if you want to be the best team in the country, if you want to be the best team, winning the titles, winning Champions League titles, you have to find a way to balance it. You have to find a way to set up your attacking players in the best way possible. And I don't think Arteta is doing that either.
Well, I think this again is another thing. Like, ask yourself, Why is it difficult for Arsenal to score goals from open play in the Premier League, but when they go to the Champions League, they don't find it difficult? Same set of players, same manager, same pitch, different outcome. It's simple. In the Premier League, it's more of KG games in the Premier League. And when you see all of these teams, no one come to play against Arsenal, whether home or away, and try to come out to play toe-to-toe with Arsenal. All of them sit back. They do low blocks. Arsenal have gone against the likes of Bayern Munich, which everyone considers the best team in the world, which I don't see it. They consider them the best team in the world. Arsenal went toe-to-toe against them. And what was the result? 3-1. Atletico Madrid, one of the best teams in the world, came against Arsenal. What was the result? Inter Milan, leading the Serie A, came against Arsenal. What was the result? And all of these goals are coming from open play, even though, yes, some set pieces were there. But open play, you could see, it's not as if it's not just about being lucky. It's about dominating the game and winning the games. And now I'm not even talking as an Arsenal fan, I'm being objective. But when you come back to the Premier League, and the most annoying part about all of this is, you see these teams go against City. City should be the most feared team in England. They go against City and they think they have a chance. The last game against City was Wolverhampton versus City. I see Wolverhampton trying to come out and play City. I'm like, what is wrong with this team? And when you see them play against Arsenal, automatically everyone goes into a low block. So it is difficult for Arsenal, for even Arteta, when you go into a low block. That is why you see the resurgence of the set pieces and everything. It's more all of that are just like an emergency response for Mikel Arteta. Like, okay, if you're going to keep a low block, you're not going to come out to play. We're not going to complain. We're just going to find a way to break you down, even though we can't do it from open play. The game against Manchester United, the first goal was a gift from Zubimendi. A mistake. Zubimendi is a fantastic player. Anyone can make a mistake. He made a mistake.
I think that was his worst game in Arsenal.
Worst game. Mbeumo fed off it. Fantastic. The next two goals came out of nothing. It came out of nothing. Just sheer instinct, or let me say individual brilliance. It came out of nothing. The goal. He had no other option. He just shot and he scored the goal. Fantastic goal. The Cunha goal, he was isolated. He had no other option. All he did was just take a shot and he scored. I'm not trying to undermine what Manchester United did. I'm just trying to tell you that the system Manchester United played against Arsenal was another low block. And they so much believed in the attacking players, in Mbeumo trying to run. So they did long, but they weren't even trying to play again. They weren't even trying to play against Arsenal. So when Arsenal face these things week in, week out, I think it's just commonsensical for Arsenal to look for other ways to try to break teams down, which is why I don't blame them when people say they score many goals from own goals. How do you consider an own goal? Do you consider an own goal from trying to score the opposition?
But here's the thing. So if you, which your points are valid. The respect teams have given to Arsenal this season has made it difficult, or the setup of teams at the Emirates, even at away, from home, has made it difficult for Arsenal. But I think if you've invested that amount of money in your front players, if you spend 65 million on Victor Gyökeres, you spend another 50 million on Madueke, you have a Bukayo Saka, you have Martinelli, you have Leonardo Trossard, you have Eze, you brought in Eze also in the summer. There are certain expectations that should come of it.
Which is normal.
There are certain standards, that people would set for you. And I don't think Arsenal are meeting that standard. And like I said, I think it is a mixture of both the manager and also the players. I don't think Victor Gyökeres has lived up to expectations. I don't think so. Neither has Noni Madueke. Eze has been benched for the last 4 or 5 games in the English Premier League for reasons that unknown to me and probably unknown to you.
No, it's known to me. It doesn't work hard.
So I think for Arsenal, something is not clicking. Something is not right in the attacking side. In midfield and defense, splendid. They have the best defense in the league. One of the best defense in Europe. The combination of Zubimendi and Declan Rice also probably one of the best combination in Europe. But Martin Odegaard has been subpar. Saka has been subpar. And it is normal for people to ask questions, of these players. It is normal for people to ask questions of the manager. It's not just about the low blocks. Every team is facing low blocks. It's not. I don't agree that it is something that is just limited to Arsenal. I think every single team. Chelsea fans are complaining about low block. Man City fans are complaining about low block. The United Arsenal game that I saw, it was Arsenal took the lead first. Arsenal scored the first goal. So you look at their attacking play. You look at how they struggle to muster any significant chance. You have to question that. It is questionable.
Yeah, so when it comes to that now, it's true, I do question that. And I think Arsenal play a game where they are too secure and they don't take risks. And I've said they have repeated
So now, is that a manager thing or the players?
Of course, that's a manager thing. That's a manager thing. No, that is a manager thing. When you put a structure in place and you put a lot of contingencies in place as well, without trying to take risk, you see, how many times do you see Arsenal take outside shots? They only take outside shots when they are desperate. Arsenal hardly take outside shots, and you have the likes of Declan Rice that can take outside shots. Zubimendi has shown flashes that he can take outside shots. You have players that can do these things, but they hardly do it. You know that's a manager thing. That's based on instructions, and that's because they don't want to lose the ball just anyhow, so they don't get countered on. And I don't know why that is, because Arsenal considered 2 goals from outside shots. Arsenal considered 2 goals from outside shot against Manchester United, and it's annoying when you see your team that dominates game. Even this game against Manchester United, Arsenal dominated it. As far as I'm concerned, they dominated the entire game. Yes, you don't expect Manchester United to sit and lay back for the entire 90 minutes. Of course, they are going to take chances. They had their moments, they took their chances. And also, I also need to bring this into the conversation. You don't expect Arsenal to go unbeaten. This is their 3rd loss in an entire season. All of the criticisms, I think it's just too much for Arsenal. All of the criticism, like they are not playing well, they are not doing this, they are getting results. When Mourinho was playing this style, I never saw anyone complain.
Mourinho had won the Premier League.
Bro, Arsenal is trying to win the Premier League. Arsenal have gone 21 years without winning the Premier League.
So here's the thing.
So now, let me ask you this. During the Wenger period, Arsenal were like one of the most beautiful teams in the world. When it comes to the system of play, how many trophies do we want? And I remember these same people criticizing Arsenal now were the same people saying it's not about beautiful football, it's about the results. So now Arteta has bring into fold a result-oriented football. Even though I don't support it 100%, but why criticize him again?
Which is fair. So the comparison with Mourinho, I don't agree. Mourinho's style of play had earned him a Premier League title. Mourinho's style of play had earned him a treble at Inter Milan. This particular team is an Arsenal team that have gone 3 seasons. Like you said, you call them what? The bridesmaid. Has gone 3 seasons without winning a Premier League. It is normal to question. It is normal to have doubt over a team that have stumbled. Arsenal. Like I was while prepping for the show, Arsenal had been on top of the table at Christmas twice in the last 3 seasons, and still failed to win the league. Okay. So wait, no. And you start to get the criticisms. I don't think it's out of place. Sometimes I think it can be exaggerated, but I think it is warranted. It is Arsenal brought this upon themselves. It's not out of place. I think people are right to question that a team who has spent 60, 70 million on a striker, 55 million on a Chelsea player, another 60 on Eze. Wenger didn't spend this money. He didn't.
It's understandable that the criticism is understandable. I feel if you are aiming for the best things, you are aiming for the silverware or whatever, even a supporter of the lowest club in the league will criticize you. It is normal. The higher you go, the more criticisms you get. But when you talk about Arsenal being the bridesmaids, this is the first time we are playing this brand of football.
I didn't say you said it.
No.
You called them.
Yes, you're making reference to it. Yeah, that's what people have tagged Arsenal. This is the first time Arsenal is playing this brand of football. 2022-2023 season, Arsenal were blowing teams away. Up until you got to the latter stages of the season, the players started getting injury because the intensity was too high. 2023-2024 season, the second half of 2023-2024 season, the least any team got, aside from that loss from Aston Villa, the least any team got from Arsenal was 3-0. It was 3, 4, 5. So you can tell, it's not as if this brand of football was because Arteta is desperate to win. Arteta has all it takes to play on the front foot, to do all of this. But now he has sat back, and I'm sure that was his thought process. Like, okay, now I just want to win. Beautiful football can come later. Let me win my first silverware. Then after that, we can bring back the beautiful football. And when you talk about investments, it's not just about Liverpool invested $500 million. Where are they?
The Premier League champions.
They were.
They are Premier League champions.
They were Premier League champions.
They are Premier League
Where
champions.
are they on the log? Are they defending? Are they defending? How do you win? How do you win the title? How do you win the title? Spend 500 million, and you're not even trying to defend the title.
Until Man City, Arsenal, Aston Villa, either of those teams win a Premier League title, Liverpool.
That is funny you mentioned Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean mathematically,
yeah.
In title. But moving on from all of this. Hypothetically, at the end of the season, if Arsenal fails to win the Premier League title, what do you think their position should be on Mikel Arteta?
All right, just quickly, realistically, Arsenal is going to win the league. If Arsenal does not win the league, if Arsenal does not win the league, he should win the Champions League. If he doesn't win either, he should get sacked.
You should get sacked.
Yeah. If he doesn't win the Champions League or the Premier League, he should get sacked.
Wow, it's actually quite interesting to see the U-turn from Arsenal fans on Mikel Arteta. But let's talk about the team that won, Manchester United. Is this a new manager bounce? Is there something genuinely going on with Michael Carrick?
This is not the first time I'm seeing this with Manchester United. I saw this under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How did that end? I saw this under Ten Hag. How did that end? Bro, this is like the first 2-3 matches under Michael Carrick. The first and the two toughest, Manchester City and Arsenal under Michael Carrick. They won, yeah, fair play to them. But this is not the first time we're seeing things like this. How do they now move on from here? See, I won't even be surprised if they end the season on the high and they win more matches than they've lost or drawn at the end of the season. Now, when he gets the permanent job, how does he fare? That's where the problem comes in. And don't forget, even under Almond,
let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away. Let's talk about the job he has done so far. This is a Manchester United team that dropped point at Burnley, dropped point at Wolves. He has come in and he has won 2 games at Manchester City and Arsenal. What exactly has he done right in these 2 games?
So I was getting there. Even under Almond, why they were suffering and inconsistent. The big games were not their problem. Even at the first game against Arsenal at the Old Trafford, they outplayed Arsenal. Arsenal was just lucky to win. The smaller games were the problem because the DNA of Manchester, they find it very easy. Sit back and counter. It's like that's their perfect game plan for this particular team. Against the smaller teams where they have to come out, play, dominate the game and score, that's where they've always struggled. So now let's see them. Their next 5 matches, next 4-5 matches are against the mid-table teams. Let's see how they fare against those mid-table teams first before we feel there's something going on with Manchester United. The bigger teams have never been a problem for Manchester United.
But big ups to Michael Carrick, big ups to Manchester United and Arsenal. I'm sure Arsenal fans are not panicking yet. It's just the end of January. There's still a long time to go, and Manchester City are not looking like a team that can put up a challenge. And we'll go on a break. When we come back and we'll be wrapping up on the European circle, and then we'll touch on Austin Eguavon's comments, the technical director of the Nigerian Football Federation, about the lack of MPFL players at the just concluded African Cup of Nations. We'll be back. Welcome back to the show, and like I said, Edwin Oyeboli says he's not on seat. My name is Oladuni Bankole, doing this alongside my friend Michael Black, who is a very passionate Arsenal fan, by the way. And before we go to Austin Eguavon, let's do quick hits on some of the talking points across Europe. Chelsea, 4 wins in 5 for Rosinio. How are you taking the new manager? Is it an upgrade on Maresca or
no? An upgrade on Maresca? No, not just yet. I don't think so. First and foremost, I'm not even impressed in the brand of football he plays. Yes, they've been winning, but me, I don't get carried away with results. He talks a lot. I love the way he composes himself with his media rounds. But when you say, I think Chelsea are more open than they were under Maresca. Defensively, I know Chelsea have always been shambolic, but I think now they are more open than they were under Maresca. But he has been winning, so nobody is complaining. But I don't think it's an upgrade.
And for Liverpool, their first loss in 2026, Mohamed Salah making his way back to the starting 11 after the African Cup of Nations. But once again, they've considered a late goal. It happened against Fulham. Now it has happened against Bournemouth. Is this a ticking time bomb for Ancelotti, especially when you consider the amount of managers that are also on the market or will be on the market in the summer? Xabi Alonso just got sacked by Real Madrid, a Liverpool legend. Will you say they should bite the gun and sack him, or give him time until the end of the season? Maybe he can turn things around.
As far as I'm concerned, I think they just need to give him time until the end of the season. Give him time until the end of the season, then sack him.
If he makes the top 4. Keep him. If he doesn't make the top 4, sack him.
Okay, so if he makes the top 4, they can keep him on the premise like they are giving him the next 6 months more like on probation, and that is because he won the league in the previous year. Even though people are saying this season, that's not because everyone is asleep. Last season, the sleeping started last season. Everyone was asleep last season as well. So based on the fact that he won the league already in his first season, they should, if he makes the top 4, they should give him extra 6 months. If after 6 months he's not doing anything, he should be sacked.
Man City bounced back from their mini slump as they defeated Wolves by 2-0. Maguire making his debut. And we talked about Liverpool. Guehi's signature for City, do you think it can be a Virgil van Dijk effect? We saw it with Liverpool. Van Dijk coming in January, changed the trajectory of their season, qualified for top 4, which was their objective this season. Yes, City objective this season is significantly different. They want to win the title. Can Guehi have that effect that Van Dijk had on Liverpool?
No, of course, Gay can have the effect. He's Premier League experienced. He's a fantastic player. He's the El Capitan of one team, of Crystal Palace, before coming to Manchester City. Of course, but I think Manchester City's defensive diabolism cannot be solved by just one player. Unfortunately, the entire defense line, considering their injury problems as well, the entire defense line needs a total revamp. So I don't think Maguire alone will solve all of that, but I think it will be of great help.
Yeah, quickly let's go to Spain. Barcelona and Real Madrid. I'm keeping it neck to neck right there in the Spanish La Liga. Who would you be putting your money on? Barcelona scoring a bunch of goals, but conceding a bunch of goals, or Real Madrid and Arbeloa igniting a romance that's been missing for a larger part of the season. If you were to put your money on a team going on to win the La Liga at the end of the season, would it be Barcelona or Real Madrid?
So, like, logically, you would want to say maybe Real Madrid, because they are more like result-oriented. They are not playing the brand of football people actually expect them. More like the Spanish Arsenal. They are not playing the brand of
Spanish
football.
Arsenal that considered goals.
No, they are not playing the brand of football that is expected of them, but they are more result-oriented. But when you see the brand of football that Barcelona plays, you get wowed, you get entertained, and they are getting results too. I was one of the people backing Real Madrid before, but now I'm a bit conflicted. I'm not sure Real Madrid can do it, because all you need to do is keep Mbappe quiet, and Real Madrid will get shot for goals. That they don't get to score, rather they get shot on goals. Like, I don't understand what goes on with Real Madrid. I really can't lay my fingers on it. And when you say romance, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't see any romance happening. All I see is Mbappe FC.
Arbeloa is kissing up to Vinicius Junior, kissing up to Aragula.
Yeah, he's trying his best to.
It is a show from what we saw with Xabi Alonso. You look at the relationship and how he grew into something toxic. Vinicius Junior's antics, at the El Clasico. Yeah, the antics at the El Clasico, also in Saudi Arabia, the final of the Super Copa. But I think what Arbeloa is doing is, and it's all this cliche that you see in football. Oh, he has brought in a new life. Everybody's happy. The bagsman is happy. The ball boy is happy. So I think that's exactly what we're seeing at Real Madrid. How far it will be sustainable, we don't know.
So the Real Madrid players are just a bunch of sports kids. It's more like sports rich kids. They are a bunch of sports kids. Alonso was trying to incite discipline. They were trying to repel the discipline, and that was how it got toxic. The team lacked synergy, lacked cohesion. So Arbeloa is trying all of these, the good parents, trying to how long would that last? How long will that last?
That's the question. How long will it last? And quickly, let's come back home as the technical director of the NFF, Austin Egwon, talked about the lack of MPFL players at the just concluded African Cup of Nations. He mentioned that Eric Chell should have done better in including a couple of players from the league, as home-based players should be having opportunities in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And this sparked conversations among Nigerian fans, a lot of people on the side of, yes, if you don't have MPFL players in your Super Eagles of Nigeria, then what exactly are you doing? And on the underside of it, a lot of people believe if you are good enough to play for the Super Eagles, you should play for the Super Eagles regardless of where you are playing. Michael, where do you stand? Do you think there should be a compulsion to put players from the league in the Super Eagles squad, or you think it should be up to the discretion of the manager? You pick players who are playing at their best, wherever it is, whenever it is, be it players in the diaspora, be it players with English or German heritage. If you are doing well and you are eligible to play for Nigeria, just come in and play. So,
two things. First and foremost, I don't believe in that quota system where some people from this part must be part of. If you're good enough, you're good enough. If all of you are good enough in one family, bearing the same surname, go and represent the Super Eagles and win everything. I don't care. In as much as you're playing for the country, wherever it is you come from, is none of our business. You are the son of the soil. Wherever you are, just play. Second of all, you're talking about these NFF players. NFF players that a lot of people don't even know. The NFF should try to, the MPFL players rather, the NFF should try to improve the league. Broadcast these matches. Let us see these players. There's as good as a player would be that we see every weekend watching them. You will want to select the team, say player where people don't fall in love with prior to any international tournament. You'll be compelled to choosing him. But all these players you're talking about, some people don't even know the best player for their own team in their own state. Televise these matches the same way we are shouting about Arsenal, Real Madrid. Let us be shouting about 3AC versus Kano Pillars, and we can mention the players easily. And it's only a matter of time. People will fall in love with these players, the best of them actually. And when there are tournaments, even the people will talk. You as a manager selecting the players, you'll be compelled to choosing them. Even if you're not going to start them, but for the experience, you'll be compelled to taking them.
Yeah, Austin Egbabon, just like Michael said, we had the CHAN tournaments before the start of the AFCON, and we saw a lot of these MPFL players feel woefully at that CHAN tournament. So if you are going to include MPFL players in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, improve the league.
Exactly.
That's basically the summation. We're going to break. When we come back, it's going to be time for the Tipsters Corner, where we'll be giving you the best value in the betting market. I'm sure Michael has one or two things to add to your hacker going into the weekend. We're going to break. It's still Sport Pizza. We'll be back. Welcome back to the show. It's the home run on today's edition of Sport Pizza, and it's that time again for you to get the best value on the betting market at this Tipsters Corner segment of the show. Michael Black, still with me. We have Tottenham against Manchester City on the menu alongside Napoli against Fiorentina. What will you be giving to people who will be looking to put one to making two this weekend?
All right, between Manchester City and Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, if there's anything you can say about Tottenham is that they concede goals. So you just go for Manchester City to win over 2.5. And between Fiorentina and Napoli, just over 1.5 will be the same.
1.5 for Antonio Conte's side. Yes, that's why we can take on the show today. Michael, thank you very much for coming. A wonderful debut you've made on the show today. What Arsenal player made his debut for you that had a long-lasting memory? Your favorite Arsenal player debut?
That made Robin Van Persie.
Robin Van Persie. So you've had a Van Persie Hex debut on the show today. My name is Oladini Bankole, standing in. Anyone will be back next week. And Michael, it's a pleasure doing this with you.
Yeah, have yourself a wonderful weekend.
And yes, my name is Oladini Bankole. Have yourself a splendid sporting weekend.